So could you tell me a little bit about some of the recent disasters that you were part of the response team, or you responded to?
Some of the disaster, I mean, since 25 years, I'm more or less involved in a way or another on disaster. When I was with other organizations than WFP, I mean, with Médecins Sans Frontières, with the Red Cross, I have been involved or in the field directement or at HQ level to Gujarat earthquake, to the BAM earthquake, to the Hurricane Mitch, to Myanmar operation, Haiti, and now in 2 days I'm going to Chile. So most of the big disaster in the world for the last 20 years I have been involved with. Including some man-made disaster also, because it's also important, like Afghanistan, like Iraq, like I started with some civil war in Mozambique, in Angola, which are not natural disaster, but it's complex to handle too.
What kind of roles or responsibilities did you do? I mean, were you in the field or?
No. For Haiti, I was not completely involved because it was some of the people in WFP, but the Haiti response was quite challenging because of the size and because of how it has happened, and in the country it has happened, to overcome all the big logistic challenge that we were seeing, and so the how we work, I mean, is to immediately think about how we are going to operate. What is the best way to reach where the disaster strike and to reach the beneficiaries? And it's not often the right direct way that we have to take to make sure that we will deliver what is needed in a quick manner. So, for example, in Haiti, it was we were thinking of, and we have done some base in Santo Domingo, thinking also on Miami, the normal commercial route for Haiti, and then looking at where we can have some staging area, some port, because the port of Port-au-Prince was destroyed. So to organize ourselves, to say it's how we are going to operate. And after, we bring the things from this different channel and supply chain route. And that needs to be done very quickly, because not only for WFP and deliver the food, but also for our partners as logistic cluster lead, we need to be very quickly on the ground and propose solutions where there are gaps. And that needs to be done quickly. So we need to have some experience to do that. It's not written in any book. And to be able to serve these people for moving their cargo as quick as possible, that they can operate in the theater of operations.
So, I mean, you mentioned some of the big logistics challenges in Haiti, and of course some of them have been really on the news and all that. Can you speak to some of the big ones that you were faced? And inefficiencies due to these?
Inefficiency, I don't know, but for example, the main challenge is an airport closed and broken. I mean, what to do? And fortunately, we have the support of the US military, which they have taken over the airport, responding to organizing the slot and the window for all of humanitarian organizations. And without that, I mean, we will not have been able to use this airport. Challenges is also because it's an urban area. It's most of the destruction, so it's very difficult to organize some distribution points. And all the people have been affected, including our staff, because we had some staff in Haiti, and so all the even it was poor infrastructure, but on top all this government infrastructure, people, etc., or they were dead or destroyed, or looking at their family. I take just an example about transport company. At the beginning, it was very difficult to find transport company. They were there, With the people, they were looking at their families, their relatives, and etc. And they came after 10 days or something like that to say, hey, we have a fleet that you can use. That is what's quite unique in this IT response problem.
So what did you do? I mean, how did you respond?
But we hired trucks from Santo Domingo, which was the only solution, but people from Santo Domingo were a bit reluctant to go to Haiti, but we managed to organize that. We organized also the fuel from Santo Domingo immediately after the disaster because we knew that it will be a problem. So we made a deal with the company to bring the fuel, and the first weeks, the fuel were available for all the community, and now the fuel system, service, etc. is working again.
So what are the type of activities that WFP do for pre-planning such a disaster?
That is a lot of what my unit is doing, logistic development unit. So it's first of all to have the right staff. It's not easy to deal with a disaster. You need not only technical skills, but you need to be able to work under very intense stress. You need to have a mindset linked to that. So we are doing some specific training for that, where we simulate an emergency and we put them in this context. That is for WFP, but we do also this same type of training for the humanitarian community, for the logistic cluster members. And that is something which is very important to build a network also. This training is also to teach about the cluster approach, etc. But I mean, most of the people going through the training, they will go to this emergency, and they will meet again, and it's a network building. So on the staff is some of the things that we do, plus technical training, plus management training, plus what for me is what I call soft skill training, which is very, very important. Is a logistician is not anymore somebody who is only moving goods, a humanitarian logistician. And good is also dealing with negotiation, managing a meeting, which is not easy when you have many NGOs in the same meeting. So we have done a training which is available for the community. It's on CD-ROM, so you can do it, and it's very important also. And on building, again, what I want to emphasize is also that all the training that we are doing is not only for WFP. We need to, and we want to also build the capacity of our partners, that we can talk the same language and be more professional. That is our own staff, I would say. But we build before partnership also. I mean, we have partnership with academy and with private sector. We have an MOU with Georgia Tech. The last 2 days I was in Boston to discuss with MIT. Yesterday I have a long meeting with UPS, etc. And I strongly believe that these three entities together can make a big difference if we put all the strengths together. And this is what I'm going to persuade more. What we do also is we have built a network where we preposition goods. And it's not only for WFP, because prepositioning food is another story, but we preposition for WFP our non-food item like prefab, tents, etc. But we have 35 different organizations that store their things, their goods in our depots. And for Haiti, most of our depots have been emptied by the all over the world, because Panama was immediately dry. But after we shipped a lot from Dubai, from Brindisi also, Accra a bit, and Southeast Asia, some of them also, to put that together. We have to try to find the balance between what needs to be stored where. But we will never be able to store what was needed for Haiti in Panama, for example. So we have also to be realistic. but we can certainly improve in our way of thinking on this depot. And we are not the only one. But for me, I don't believe on emergency like that on one supply chain. I don't believe at all on that. It should be several supply chains, but coordinated in a coordinated manner. Otherwise, it will be congested. It will not work.
So, what do you see your WFP's role will be in the medium term and the long term in Haiti?
It's a good question, which I don't have the answer, I would say. Long term, I don't think WFP is I'm sure WFP is not a development agency. We will stay at least until the end of the year, so I think it's a plan now, because the IT problem will not be solved even in 1 year. But on food distribution, maybe after the things, and it's a if also, we have to think of the planting season, which is very soon now. So we have to bring also, it's FAO and all partners to bring the seeds and etc. to be able to grow what is needed. So after, I mean, it's very difficult to predict. I'm very much concerned about the incoming rainy season and hurricane season. Because if what has happened in 2008, where they have been hit by 4 hurricanes, I think, Haiti. If that happens again, even only one, it will be a real strong disaster, because it's obvious that we will not be able, as humanitarian community, to rebuild, and the people will be still in towns and shelter if an hurricane strike again Haiti.
So, I mean, did you see anything in the Haitian response where you felt that it wasn't like it could be improved?
Specific things, I think we could have been a bit quicker, I think.
In terms of the whole community, or in terms of...
At least WFP, I think, to be frank. I'm not saying that on that particular case it was a question of saving lives, etc., but we could have done a bit quicker. And after, we have all the same problems that we face in all disaster. I mean, it's coordination mechanism. I think in logistic was quite okay with the logistic cluster quickly on the ground. That is something that now we have learned and we know how to handle and WFP with our partners, because at the beginning the head of the cluster, one of the guys from the cluster was not WFP, it was from another organization working for us. So it's a joint venture, and that, with the experience that we had in a lot of emergency now, we have quite improved a lot. The way of thinking, one important thing is the information management. I mean, to give as quick as possible the customs procedures, to share information about the pipeline, if we get the information, etc. That is, even if it can be improved with education, with better tool maybe, etc., is something that it's quite working. Yeah.
So you said you could have been quicker. I mean, what needs to happen for you to be there quicker?
It's maybe it's you know, when you are in emergency, you have to guess. You have to take some decision without knowing all the things. So maybe in some occasions the decision-making process was a bit slow. And again, I mean, it's not to blame or whatsoever. It's something that we have to think of to be able to be a bit quicker, because I think it's possible.
So what were some of the things that worked well?
You're
proud of?
I'm proud of what in general we have done, even if we have been a bit not slow, but what we have done was great. I think that our customers, which are in food, I mean, I know you have seen on media that it was a bit slow, but we cannot bring food in 2 days. It's some, yes, a biscuit and etc., but to have full ration is not possible. So that's what we have done. We have done also what the cluster has produce in terms of support to others, and the feedback that we have are positive from our customers, and that is what we can be proud of it. Yeah.
Could we talk a little bit about WFP's involvement in long-term aid, but I mean not in developmental aid because WFP doesn't do that really, but I mean you do have long-term programs.
In some countries, some main challenge are the funding, because you have forgotten countries that nobody is interested in. So what to do to push, to try to continue and advocate for them. And you have some countries that still will be challenging until the conflict is over. It's Sudan, it's Afghanistan, it's Democratic Republic of Congo. That you, on top of the uncertainty, you add bad logistic infrastructure, rainy season, complexity of this huge country. That are big challenges. And but what we try to do also, which I didn't mention, is in some countries, because the panel was we are talking about capacity building, is what we try to do also. It's not only drop the food to the beneficiaries. I mean, we try to build local capacity. We have some program for that. We have a program which we call, for example, P4P, Purchase for Progress, which we try to help the small farmer to better sell their food, basic warehouse management, because they lost a lot, because it's not at their level, it's not well stored. This type of things that and put them on the market. We have also some programs that will start soon in Iraq to help the Iraqi government to manage their supply chain for the people in need in Iraq, which is a government approach to bring food to these people, and it's a big challenge in Iraq, as you know. So we have also programs, often managed by our regional bureau, to build up capacity from to the governments, as such.
Do you think about measuring or evaluating the effect of WFP aid in the medium term or the very long term? So
that maybe, but that's not my shop. And no. But what we want us first as the logistics department is to, and you know that because we have discussed that a lot, is improve our efficiency, have a better visibility of our supply chain globally, and find some solution where we can be more efficient in prepositioning, first of all having the visibility that the field can exactly know, measure, and now the technology is there. I think it's a question of how to do that.
So, kind of finally, do you have any if you were to say something, give a message to some, like to your organization or to other NGOs, government, military, donors, private industry, academia, what would you say?
I would say that
what is needed
is what we do already, but it's work together. At all level, each level, preparedness, response, reconstruction. I think it's important, and everybody have seen the difference when we are better coordinated, and not only when it's a response things. It's on preparedness, which is crucial to put our eggs in all together, and it's coming. I mean, it's coming, but it's not. Still a lot to be done, but it's coming. But together, we will make the difference.
So, final question for you personally. I know that you've been working in this field for many years. I mean, and it's one of the hardest fields that you can imagine. What drives you personally to keep working and facing the challenge?
Because I think it's also rewarding to work in that environment. You know why you wake up in the morning. And it's also because it's moving in the right direction. I think we went through a lot of problems and tried to build something, and now it's coming. And it's what I mean, in this world, I mean, okay, it's tough sometimes, but you learn so much. You discover so many countries, so many different people, that it's also a big plus for us, for me, to be able to travel and to understand that the different culture. So it's a win-win situation also. So it's tiring. Yes, it's sometimes tough to see what is happening and to see the distress of the people. But in another way, it's good because we think we have an added value, and we discover fantastic people everywhere. So it's great.